to the peak without no regret. You got no love without no love. You got no regret without no regret. You got no...
Hello, guys. Welcome to the first episode. It's not a first episode of Football Debates, but first episode of where we're going to be debating about all sorts of things in one episode. Today I'm with Thomas again. How are you?
I'm doing well, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm a lot better over the past few days of using social media a lot less. There may be a little bit of a delay as again we're just going to have connection issues, and I think as your phone's on charge, there may be a little bit of a delay since I'm not sure why, but that just happens sometimes. However, the things we're going to be debating about, I'm going to name them. However, obviously we could go on tangents and things like that as we do, as I love to do on this channel as well. The vote about Premier League games being on TV, all Premier League games being on TV in the UK. And that will be a vote happening in 2024 as well. The new Champions League format, which there has been some news about that today as well, luckily enough, because we're going to be debating about this anyway. Who genuinely could win the World Cup without me just saying it's coming home? Greatest Premier League team of all time, greatest team of all time, and what positive Pochettino can bring. I'm not sure whether you're noticing, however, your side is sort of lagging quite a lot, Thomas.
All right, okay. Is there anything I can do about it, Reid?
I'm not sure. I do apologize. I just wanted to let people know we do know that it's lagging. In case anyone comments about it or anything like that, and there's not much we can do because Thomas was using his laptop and that's even worse. And the phone now he's on the phone and it seems to be a bit better. However, the vote about TV now. I've read a few things about this, and obviously this happened during lockdown. People couldn't go to lower league grounds and things like that. So let's say Salford City, Hull City. Well, I know Hull City's only a league below us, but even Altrincham, for example, which is kind of near me, Oldham, which is kind of near me, places like that. People go to them on a Saturday rather than obviously watching a 3 o'clock game. Whereas lockdown, that didn't happen. And people got used to televised games, including myself. I've spoken about it on the channel before. And in 2024, obviously that's 2 years away, Premier League clubs are going to be voting about whether they want all games to be televised or not. Now, obviously, for fans of Premier League clubs, including myself, including Thomas, it could be an ideal thing. First of all, I do want to ask you, in Ireland, are all the games televised anyway, including 3 o'clock games?
Yeah, because to my knowledge, in England, Britain, sorry, all the games are not televised 3 p.m. on a Saturday because I thought it was something to do with the hierarchy in your country, such as like the royals and stuff like that. I thought that's what it was because, but obviously I haven't educated myself enough because it doesn't really affect me because games are showed every single time they're on. They're on telly and over here and everywhere else in the world, it seems. But just over in Britain, it just doesn't seem to be a thing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And you can kind of link this to the Super League debate in a way, because the Super League, obviously, it was going to ruin the English football pyramid. And despite liking, like for example, I know you're a big admirer of Barcelona and things like that, and they're sort of your second team. However, the English football pyramid, in my personal opinion, is the best built pyramid and best built system for football in the world. Don't get me wrong, it still has its flaws, absolutely still has its flaws. However, the actual way it's built, the fact that I could go and sign, I could go if I had enough money. Obviously, I don't have enough money right now. However, if I had enough money, I think it's altogether 2,000. I could register a football club with the FA. I could create a football club and register it with the FA. And that would be a professional football club. And obviously, you'd have to start from the ground up, and I could build a club from the ground up, and it's obviously not as easy as it seems. However, in your opinion, is that the best sort of system in the world?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've actually delved into the financial end of things in every league in the world, because, well, not every single one, obviously, the majority of the big ones in the world, because it's so obvious when you look into debates such as why the Premier League is the best league in the world, why La Liga is the best league in the world, all these debates. It's built upon the structure of the league because the Premier League and La Liga are very different leagues. I'm just using La Liga, sorry, as an example because they're probably the second best, arguably. Maybe Serie A is Bundesliga. I
I'd
don't
say
really
it's
care.
La Liga.
But yeah, and I follow La Liga more, so that's definitely the example I'm going to use here. And if you're going to put them side by side to compare them, the Premier League structure is brilliant, and I think it is definitely the best in the world because the money earned from TV rights are spread evenly amongst the 20 teams. In La Liga, it's down to percentages to where Real Madrid, Barcelona get the majority of the TV rights money because everyone wants to watch them. And Atletico get a bigger portion, but not as much as the two bigger teams. And the rest of the teams in La Liga get all get the same amount, but when you look at the money made from La Liga, majority of it goes to Barcelona, Real Madrid, and arguably Atletico Madrid, and the rest of the other teams just do not get anywhere near the same. And that's why the structure of La Liga is fixed to Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico are the top three every season. And I know Sevilla are they're breaking the mold of that, and you always get the odd team like Valencia, obviously not doing too well at the moment, but you do get the odd team that breaks the mold, like Getafe a few years ago, and look at them now. Just the money they make just is not up to scratch with the two top leagues and the most historic teams in the world. And obviously this keeps the same cycle for 50, 100 years, obviously until it gets changed, where the top two teams will always be Barcelona and Real Madrid in that league, and Atletico will be just a third. You get their air scraps almost and money wise, and everyone else gets the same amount. Where in the Premier League, the way it's fixed is everyone gets an even share of the money, which makes everything keeps really competitive, and you see the likes of Aston Villa, Leicester, Newcastle. Obviously, that's different. That's because of takeovers and stuff like that. That's something different. But the rest of the leagues don't have as much money coming in as the Premier League because the Premier League's built on a great structure, and it's a very competitive league now where there's 8 teams pushing in and around to get into European football places, and there's teams coming from the lower leagues, the lower end of the league tables, such as Everton, who are every now and again they have spirits where they push into sixth and then they might drop off. Where there's a few teams like that, and it's going to be like that in the future, where the 6 teams will always finish in European football and 7th is Conference League, but it's much more even money wise and the financial side now than it is to other leagues. That's why it's arguably the best in the world because the money is getting spread evenly and it's just an even league, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And one of the most, if not the most, historic figure in our club's history, Sir Matt Busby has sort of helped build, and not just the Premier League or the First Division. He's helped build the football pyramid in England and in Britain to a great sort of pyramid, in my opinion, a great sort of system. And if we're going back to the TV debate, then if all Premier League games are on TV, obviously it's very difficult for us as Premier League fans to say we don't want Premier League games on TV at 3 p.m, especially when I'm in the UK. However, that may ruin that pyramid or at least massively affect it because we've seen during COVID. I know COVID there's so many layers to what's going on and things like that, and what was going on, especially when we were in lockdowns and things like that, when people couldn't go to lower league grounds and any grounds really. And we've seen lower league teams nearly go bust. And Gary Neville had a little bit of a rant about it during a big rant about it during the Super League proposals, saying we're seeing teams at National League level and lower league level going bust nearly, and they're there trying to create a Super League behind our backs. And it just makes you wonder, is this having a knock-on effect to all the games being televised? Would that have a knock-on effect? Because if that would have a knock-on effect, I'm sorry, as much as I love the Premier League, I don't want them televised at 3 p.m. And I know I don't go to any sort of non-league or lower league grounds myself, and I personally admit that. And I know Kine, who watches the channel and has been on this channel, does he goes to Salford City's ground, for example. And I know someone else who is a big Hull supporter as well, and she goes to the Hull ground sometimes. And it makes you think: would it just be affected? Do you think it would be affected too much to the point where the pyramid would be quite sort of ruined?
It's a very good point because what you said there, and I always thought it would be fair, but to do a thing. I know there was a few examples of when you're saying in the period where this is getting discussed, that there should be there's some sort of alternative solution where if you're a fan of the club, you can buy a season pass where you watch all the games. Like you pay, let's say, 300 quid, 250 quid, and you watch the whole every game for the whole season, and you renew it every year, every season, and so it's much more handy. And I did really like that, but then I realised that Manchester United, the club we support, have arguably the biggest fan base in the world, and let's say put that in comparison with someone like Southampton.
Cambridge United, who CR7 fan has even just said as well that they're like a lower league team as well. I apologise for interrupting there.
No, it's fine. No, it's a good point because I was going to go into something like that as well, in my personal opinion on that. And that is, the season pass is a good idea. Now, I'm from Ireland, as you know, and the team I support, I go to a team called Shamrock Rovers as much as I can because they're from the area where I'm from, and I support them, and my family members who involved in that. They're the best team in Ireland right now, and I try go up as much as I can because I love the stadium. It's a 4,000 seater stadium. I love everything about it, and it's similar to the situation in Britain with the League Two teams, League One teams, and during the COVID season, because the clubs were so heavily reliant on fans coming in, and they obviously couldn't seat everyone, and all the stadiums across Ireland, where the stadium is much more smaller than comparison to even the Championship, so what the League of Ireland did, they made they made a new site called League of Ireland, watchleagueofireland.ie, where you pay a season pass or you pay game by game, where you can watch all the fixtures that week, and all the money is spread evenly across all the clubs. So I thought that was a very, very imaginative idea, and I think the Premier League could replicate something like that. And I'm not telling you to follow what Ireland did because we're better when the quality league is completely different, opposite ends of the table. But when obviously you're saying there, you go to lower league teams and on a Saturday 3 p.m. The games in Ireland, they're on a Friday night 8 p.m. because so it doesn't clash with the Saturday, because obviously people in Ireland support English teams, and like me, I support Man United, like they're my team. So, and there's a lot of people in Ireland. There's Liverpool fans, there's Ireland fans, even Leeds fans, every fan. And to show support for lower league teams, and I know the opposition, the teams, the quality of teams isn't as good as Premier League, and it never will be. To support these clubs who are trying to just get by, and the loyal fans sticking by Irish leagues, because obviously Ireland trying to promote that, because we have young Irish players who play for top Premier League clubs, like for example Roy Keane, Dennis Irwin. There's so many examples, and these people came through Ireland, and so it's such a good big thing for me to go and watch a Friday night game where Shamrock Rovers playing against Shelbourne, who are another Dublin team, and it's just such a big occasion. And the next day, United are playing Aston Villa, which is arguably as big because I'm a big United fan. But these games are such a big thing for the Irish population to watch, and I understand
And it's
completely why.
the atmosphere, I can imagine as well, is almost like a family atmosphere.
Definitely, yeah.
I know it's like that at Old Trafford, but in my opinion, even as a United supporter, I can say lower league grounds will always have that stick. We're all in it together atmosphere. The atmosphere where it's a family atmosphere from right from the owner to the lady in the canteen cooking, or the man in the canteen cooking, or the players, the fans, etc., etc. From being at I've been to Altringham's ground when I was a lot younger and several times, and it's always a family atmosphere. Is that how it is in Ireland as well with Shamrock Rovers?
Yes, definitely. Because the club, like I said, it is the biggest in Ireland, but still, every single season, every single game, sorry, the atmosphere is it's brilliant. And there's in the south stand, you can never get a seat there because that's considered the ultras. And like I mean, they throw flares every game. They're singing songs. It's brilliant, and the atmosphere is so good because you feel a part of it more than in Old Trafford where you're alongside 75,000 other people. Where in Ireland, and as the other point was, the tickets are cheaper, and you tend to go there more often because it saves me, for example, to leave at 2 a.m. in the morning to go on a boat to Wales or Holyhead, Manchester, and take a bus up, and it's a whole day thing where you watch a random United game and you go home. It's a lot of money compared to just taking the half an hour car up to Dublin and you watch your favourite team and support the local grounds. So yeah, the atmosphere though it's sensational, and like I said, you feel more a part of it because there's less people in it, and like you said, the family thing is definitely because I go with my uncles, my cousins, my brother. Like it's a brilliant atmosphere. Like even when, it's even bigger when obviously we all know who Tolkien is. He's a big YouTuber. Nowadays, Bolton fan. He went to the Rovers Bohemians Derby a few weeks ago, and the Rovers channels like TikTok and that they grasped it because obviously Tolkien was such a big support. So and he went to the game with his dad, and it kind of gave us publicity. And obviously that's brilliant for lower leagues because to have someone as big as that. I know he's not the biggest in England or in Britain, sorry, on YouTube, but he's still a big character, and everyone knows
He's
who
been
he
on
is.
Sky Sports, and he's
Yeah, definitely.
big amongst the
Yeah,
football scene right now. He's definitely
definitely.
big amongst the football scene. Like obviously other people have got different opinions on people, but he's definitely big amongst the football scene. And he's been on Saturday Social as well. I will just get into the comments. Robbie says, "How are we doing?" I'm doing great. Are you doing well, Thomas?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Robbie.
That's good. I hope you're doing well too, Robbie. Yo, guys. Forza Macedonia. I do hope Macedonia win. I am sorry. I had quite a bit. I don't know whether you're seeing on last night's stream. I had a little bit of a rant about this. About people wanting me to want Portugal to win it. Now, if Portugal win it, I'll hope they do kind of all right. But I want the best route for England. I'm sorry. What are both your guys' thoughts on Anthony? Now, news over the past 12 hours has been if 10 or 24 hours, if Ten Hag comes, no matter where Ten Hag goes, he will want to buy Anthony. What is your thoughts on him?
I got asked this once a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago,
Yeah.
about Anthony and my opinions on him. And I said before, and I got backlash for it as well. I said I genuinely think Anthony isn't as great as people think he is. People think he's the next Lionel Messi. Like he is not that good. I mean, he is a very good player, and I really like his sort of football. But if I was playing alongside him, if you were playing alongside him, you would hate him because he gets the ball and his skill moves and that his trickery does come off. But when it doesn't, it's so infuriating. And there's some games I watched him against what's the lower league games? Pexwold, I think it was in the lower Dutch team in the league. And he, whenever he got the ball, he had a 6 out of 10 performance. He just done a few skill moves, and then he just wouldn't take on the player. He just pass it, and then. But I'm not saying that's him every single game. He is sensational, Anthony. He's really good. But I don't think he's this. Like he'd be an upgrade for us, definitely. I don't think he's this Ballon d'Or nominee that everyone thinks he is, but he is a very good player, and I think the
Would you prefer
more
Rafinha
close
to
looking at him. Yeah, I would, but Rafinha's gone to Barcelona, so it's a shame. But
Oh yeah,
Rafinha's better player, I think. So
yeah. What an atmosphere for a non-league team at 3 p.m. Indeed, but
yeah,
I know you can. There's a little bit of sarcasm involved there, but fans would rather try find an illegal stream to watch at 3 p.m. than go watch local. You say that, and I know, like for example, on Twitter, we see many people watching streams allegedly, and I allegedly do it on stream as well. However, the 2,000 people that go to Altrincham, for example, they matter. They matter to that club more than anything. The
Yeah.
before the class of '92 took over Salford City, the few thousand people that went there, or the few hundred people that went there, they matter. The few hundred people that go to Stretford Paddock Football Club, and now I know there's also a YouTube channel called that. However, the actual football club, the few hundred people that go there, they matter. Even hashtag United to an extent,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
matter. You may see the masses watching a stream, but the small amount of people that go to non-league grounds, they matter. They help those clubs massively, and they help football in this country from grassroots right to the Premier League massively, more than I do, and more than most of us do, to be honest, because most of us do allegedly watch streams. Either Sterling or Maguire will captain tonight for England. I read it would be Harry. I read it would be Declan Rice, but maybe I'm wrong. I seen that on Instagram. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I prefer Rafinha, but Anthony is decent. Gavin says,
yeah.
"Hey lad, sorry I missed the start of the show. Figured I'd actually feed the kids today." Obviously a joke, by the way. Of course, you've got to state that as a joke in here with some people. Right, the new Champions League format, and I actually had a tiny conversation with Gavin about this. I think it was this morning now. Well, I don't think actually it was earlier this afternoon. Now, with the new Champions League format, there's been news where teams will get a safety net, like we will get a safety net, for example. And I'm just going to get this new Champions League format up now. There's been news where teams will get a safety net, and it's been this news about that being scrapped today. Now, the new Champions League format, I will share my screen if I can. Let me just share my screen just so people have got it up, and I will read it as well.
Of course, yeah.
36 teams included, up from 32, so 4 more teams. Group stages are replaced by one big league table. Each team plays 10 games in the first phase, 5 home, 5 away, 100 additional games. Mental that. The top 8 sides in the league phase will automatically qualify for the knockout stage. Teams finishing in 9th to 24 place will compete in a 2-legged playoff to secure their path to the last 16. And there was also talk of a safety format. Let me stop sharing there. Let me go back to that one. And the safety format is where United, if we finish 7th this season, let's say, for example, we may qualify. However, the talk today is that is being scrapped. I think they must have seen the reaction on social media last week.
Yeah.
Now, I've just seen this chat from Jack, and I've got to block it. You get it timed out. Now, what is your thoughts on this before I give my thoughts on it? I'll ask you first.
Thoughts on the scrapping today or the league table?
No, just the format in general, and including the scrapping today.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was absolutely disgraceful. Like disgusting what they tried proposing yesterday. I mean, it's just not fair. Like, and obviously it's great for us because I don't think we're finishing 4th or top 4 this season. And if this rule was put in place this season, we'd be fine. We wouldn't be wondering, or we wouldn't be worrying. Sorry, because we'd be like, we're getting the Champions League anyway, even if we finish 9th, because it's ridiculous. I mean, you cannot base football is always changing, and we both know this. We were winning the league in 2013, and we were competing for Europa League in 2015. Like football just changes, and you can't rely on anything. So to go off of the previous 5 years history in the Champions League for your club, it's just ludicrous. And I genuinely think it was put in place just for the players to not be worrying about, will we finish 4th this season, will we finish 5th? And they're like, we get our money anyway, so it's okay, we want to invest in the squad. That's all I think this was. And Arsenal have American owners there thinking the same. Daniel Levy at Spurs was probably thinking the exact same, because I think it was based in the top 15, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In some sort of FIFA rankings, yeah. And that would mean Roma, what I think I've seen as well, Roma would have been in it. They were like 11th or something, which is it's a joke because Roma haven't been in it in a few years now. So, like, I do not get it at all. Like, just because your history resembles good fortune in the Champions League does not mean that 20 years later your club should be in it just based off past players. Like, no, the only player we have in our squad that's won the Champions League with us is Ronaldo, and he won it in 2008. Like, that just sums it up. And I know it's based off the last 5 years Champions League standards, but that alone just sums up that we should not be in contention to be in this royalty Champions League thing. Now, the fact that scrapped is definitely based off of reactions, and I genuinely think this is an early because when the Super League happened this time last year, they just I think what the mistake they did was they threw too much at us in a quick succession of time, and people just obviously reacted badly to it, and rightfully so. So they scrapped the whole thing, and they come back a year later, and I think they're at least going to take baby steps into what they want, and that is what happened last year. So they're going to start off with, oh, we want to do a league table, add 100 more games, like you said, to the calendar, which I don't know how they're going to fit that in because you're demanding players to play almost 80 games a season if they're a top club. So I don't really understand that. And I think it's going to end up, if they get their way, it's going to end up exactly what they proposed in this time last year. But I genuinely don't like it because we've won this tournament 3 times and we won the treble doing it once. To completely scrap it and change it completely for money reasons is just a complete disrespect to fans, first of all. And second of all, it gives the teams that are not cup teams, if that makes sense. So the year Chelsea won it, they won that because they wanted a good cup run. It gives teams like that, probably the underdog to win it, just completely slashes their chances. And we've seen with the past 5 years, Man City, Liverpool, and Bayern, and PSG, well, not really PSG, but they grind out leagues by winning 3-0, winning 3-0, winning 2-0, winning 4-1. They're going to do that in the Champions League where the top teams of football finish 8th. You could argue rightly so, but it's almost like the romance and the love of the Champions League is completely just scrapped because the last game week you could have finished second or third in your group and you just got through. Like, what was the name of the team that Real lost it in the group stages this season?
Sheriff.
Yeah, you will get none of them in this new league format. They'll finish bottom of the league, lose every game. But it's purely because if it was based off of 6 games and a group round robin, it'd be fine because you can get all these underdog teams to go through, but it just levels out the whole entire thing into making. Is it 25 man league or 24? I can't remember.
20. Wait, sorry. Which one? The Champions League.
Yeah, how many were in the league? Like,
how many are in the league? 24.
Yeah.
Apologies for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. It's because it is disgraceful how it's literally going to be marginalised. There's going to be 12 top teams, and the point gap between 12th and 13th is going to be huge. There's going to be 12 good teams and 12 bad teams that shouldn't be in the league, like a Celtic and these type of teams. And it would just destroy all sort of love for the Champions League for me. But if it happens, it happens, and I hope you win it every season. But I don't like it at all.
No, yeah, I do agree with the safety net. Like, if we finish, I think, sarcastically speaking, I think we should try it out for this season and then scrap it completely, just so we get Champions League for our new manager. Obviously, sarcastically speaking, if West Ham finish 4th, I know they won't, but if West Ham finish 4th and we finish 6th, West Ham should get Champions League and not us. Like,
yeah,
I want that to happen. I want that to happen in the sense of if that happens, if that makes sense. It feel like almost like why have we just played a 38 game season to try and I know we're trying to win the league as how big our club is. However, our current aim is to try and get top 4 and probably will be for the next season or two. Why have we just played a 38 game season to fight out trying to get Champions League when we're gonna get it anyway? What's the point?
100%.
Like CR7 fan says, it should be deserved. It shouldn't be by name. And I pulled
Completely
a
agree,
weird facial expression before on the stream, and I seen Cyprus score an absolutely just unbelievable goal. Cyprus versus Estonia is live right now. I've got it on the channel that it's on Sky Sports Action. So that's why I pulled that face. It was an unbelievable goal. So I just wanted to let people know. We'll move on from that. Right, who genuinely could win the World Cup? Like, right, we can't deny England are a threat for the World Cup. Who else? Let's say France. and I'll give my opinion on the teams as well. In my opinion, France peaked in 2018, and they've got issues off the pitch with egos and other things and arguments and things like that. We've got Spain, in my opinion, they're too young, as in the squad. You've got Gavi, you've got Pedri, you've got the goalkeeper's quite young as well, isn't he? I think they've just brought another 21 goalkeeper in, and so you've got Spain, Belgium. I think they're far past their sort of golden era now.
Yeah.
You've got Argentina, Messi. I don't think they're that good, Argentina. Obviously, we've got Messi in there, and you've got possibly Garnacho in there. But I don't think Argentina are that good. If Portugal qualify tonight, you've got them. I don't think the coach is that good. However, I would say the biggest threat to England is France. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with everything you said there, bar what you said about France. I don't think they're past their peak because they won the they didn't win the Nations League. What did they win again? I'm sorry, I'm completely off like football today.
I think was it the Nations League?
I don't think they won the Nations League. Okay. Anyway, they won a big an international tournament this year or last year, sorry. And in the World Cup or in the Euros, sorry, I thought they actually had a very underrated Euros, and I know they got knocked out by Switzerland in the quarterfinals, last 16. They should have went on and definitely pushed to at least try win it. You know, I think they actually have a very good team. They have a nice blend of youth and also experienced players, and you get some in between that are coming into prime, and they genuinely have a very good core. And I genuinely, this sounds ridiculous, but I genuinely think their second team could genuinely push for semi-finals finish in the World Cup. I really like France and the players that they have. Like they have such a strong spine. The only player I don't like in that France team is Hugo Lloris because I think he is past it. I don't really like Ray Lloris anymore. But everyone else, they have a very good team, and even they got really lucky. For a while there, they didn't have a proper like up to scratch right back with the rest of the players they had. And now they have Jonathan Klaus, who plays for Lens, and he made his first cap this year, recently. I think it was one of the last few games, and he's actually coming out to be a very good right back. And they won the World Cup with Benjamin Pavard right back, so I don't particularly rate as a right back, but it's genuinely it's kind of fascinating how they've sort of carried these kind of positions into winning the World Cup. I don't want to get better with the youngsters they have. Like Kylian Mbappe, everyone knows how good he is, and I think you're a bit of an idiot if you don't like him.
He's the best player in the world, in my opinion.
He's definitely up there. You know, there's no doubt in it. You know, he's brilliant. He's so good, and you have youngsters like Raphael Varane supposed to be captain of the team the World Cup this year.
Yeah,
and that's
he's captaining tonight, isn't he?
I don't know, but I hope he is.
I'm like
99%
sure Jonathan Schrager reported that he's captaining tonight.
That's very good.
Yeah,
but even have France, players like
I predicted the future. Speaking of France, I predicted the future, and I'm going to show you some. I don't know whether you followed my Twitter account here. However, I did predict the future. If that will focus, it shows it before the game. So tonight, France will get knocked out. This was 28th of June 2021. This was 15 minutes before kickoff. And I remember I would say it's one of the best games I've ever watched, that France versus Switzerland game. It was just from start to finish, it was like mesmerizing. It was like, wow, this is real football. This is real football. But we'll get into the comments here. UEFA Super League, we got into them ones. Need that them Ten Hag UCL trophy picks. I won't mind them this season. I won't mind Ajax. Oh no, they got knocked out, didn't they?
They got knocked out.
Yeah, you're not going to make the World Cup squad. We won't speak about that here. We won't speak about that here. Spain, good outsiders, to be fair. Good coach, good overall team. Need a good man up top, though. Yeah, they could do with a Harry Kane or a Karim Benzema or even a Kylian Mbappe. Germany. I think do you agree that we as when I say we, England, do you believe that we're better than Germany in the sense that we beat them quite comfortably last year?
Yeah, true. Am I right in saying Germany got someone sent off in that game really early? Am I wrong?
I can't remember. Let me get that up. England
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
versus
I don't think it really
Germany.
matters, but just asking.
They did not. No, they didn't.
Oh, they did. Okay, I'm wrong then. Besides the point, I think you definitely bet Germany comfortably. The only thing is with Germany, like their peak was 2014. If you're going to say anyone's peak, it was them. The thing is with Germany, they rock up to tournaments and they genuinely, well, they used to grind out 1-0, 2-1-0 wins all up until the finals, and they just can't do it anymore. It's really strange, and I think it's because they had a golden generation around 2010, like on onwards, and the players they had were very good technically. I'm not saying they don't have that anymore, but it seems like Hansi Flick is. I don't really think he's an international manager. He's more of a club, manager. And there's a few managers that have that example, or like Mancini. You can argue he's both. I actually do really like Mancini. Enrique is both. And obviously I followed Barcelona properly from like 2012 onwards. And what he done with them when the treble, he's such an underrated job what he did in 2015, 2014-15. He's a really good manager, Luis Enrique. It's just a shame that he obviously had to pull away from being Barcelona manager because I think his daughter was sick or something like that. And he's gone back into management, and I think up to the final, he lost to France in that final last season. I think Spain definitely have a shout, and Ferran Torres is banging in the goals for Barcelona. I mean, like, a ridiculous rate. So you could argue, you're correct that they don't have a proper striker, like out and out like Harry Kane, like you said. But I think they can work around that, and we've seen that problem in the Euros previously. They just did not have that proper striker. Like Morata wasn't good. He was
He's the
dreadful, I
most
thought.
expensive football player in the world as well, and he's just not that good.
Yeah,
He's
I completely
sold
agree.
for I think it's like, is it 600 million he's so far altogether, including all of his
Oh,
sales. I read something
mad,
like
yeah.
that. So he's the most expensive football player in the world officially, including all sales. So it's ridiculous. France won
Yeah.
the Nations League to beat Spain. Yeah,
It
Karen
wasn't
says
actually.
France, Portugal, Spain are all better than England. I wouldn't say Spain and Portugal are better than England. Watching Portugal last week, I don't think they're as good as us. Nowhere near. Do you agree with that?
To be honest with England, like I think Portugal are a very good team, and if they had a good coach, they would push to win stuff. But the manager they have is a puppet. Like he's not a manager. You see him like he stands around, walks around. He doesn't give orders out. He's just I don't think if you look at his I'd say if you look at his CV, it's not that good either. He is genuine. He's not that good a manager, and it seems like sometimes that Ronaldo is the manager of Portugal. But they have such a good squad, a great pool of players. Sorry, they should be pushing for things certainly in the future. Without Ronaldo, they have a very good squad. I don't think they'll win the World Cup this year though, and I don't think they'll get to the semis to be honest. Purely because of the manager they have, like he's not experienced enough. He's not good enough. But with Spain, I think they'll be an underdog, and I think they can push for the final purely because they play such great football. And I know you're saying the core they have is quite young with Pablo and Gavi, but I genuinely think because of how they play and the Spain players, even if you look back to 2008, 2012, they won two World Cups and sorry, 2 Euros in a World Cup, and they have players such as Ramos and PK playing together, and they are two faces of Barca and Real, and they just learn to play together. And we've seen that with Spain already. Barcelona, Real Madrid players and rivals like that. They just ended up playing with each other.
I feel
And
that's
that's the
a
great
huge
thing.
positive with England now, is that as well.
Okay.
We can speak about like England if we name the players that we've had, like whilst I've been growing up, whilst you've been growing up, whilst most people in this chat have been growing up. Beckham, Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard, Rooney, Terry, Rio, you've Ashley Cole. You've got these. I've just named 8 players there, and obviously some in the same position, etc., etc. But and Gary Neville has spoken about it as well, saying it just used to be the United lads in one corner, and then everyone else. There never used to be this where we all get on. And I have spoken about it recently quite a lot. I feel togetherness with international football is just as important, if not more important, in my opinion, than tactics. And you can see it with the England squad. You just have to watch the videos and you can see it. And I felt it last year. The togetherness with this squad is huge. Declan Rice, Mason Mount, best mates. And I know Declan Rice is a Chelsea fan and that sort of plays into it. But Declan Rice and Luke Shaw, they're good mates too. Harry Maguire seems to be good mates with people around the squad. Just, no matter what everyone's opinions on Harry Maguire are, including fans at the ground, he seems to be mates with everyone around the squad. Even Jordan Pickford seems to be mates with everyone around the squad. There never seems to be this player has fell out with this player, or Gerrard and Lampard have fell out, or Beckham's fell out with this player, or Beckham's getting absolutely destroyed by the English media. There never seems to be where this player is getting destroyed by our own media. And I'm not going to get into the English media debate, as I think me and you together have had this debate hundreds of times already. However, there seems to be this real togetherness with the FA sort of working on it. Obviously Gareth Southgate playing a huge part, the team playing a huge part, and I think the media are also playing a huge part as well. And you're speaking about Spain there with Ramos, Piqué, Iniesta, Xavi. Obviously they were all together, and Xavi and Iniesta probably the best midfield duo I've ever seen. Obviously, I didn't really see Scholes and Keane. With watching Xavi and Iniesta, and obviously more importantly in this situation, Ramos and Piqué, there has to be a togetherness, and there seems to be, even with Maguire and Stones. And obviously, we didn't like that hug in the Manchester derby that they had. However, that togetherness is there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. It's very interesting. I didn't think about that too. With England, they got to the World Cup semi-final together. And even though I don't rate that run because you blew Panama away and you played Croatia, which I thought you should have definitely got to the final.
We should have won that. We should have won that.
Yeah. I don't know about winning now, but I think you should have got to the final at least.
I'm going to say the words every single English person hates to hear, including myself. If Harry Kane did square it to Raheem Sterling, we would have won it. Yeah. We would have won that game.
No, I think you're right completely, But
yeah,
I think France were just genuinely too good that year. But that's beside the point. You got to the Euros final playing. Now, you know my opinion on Gareth Southgate. I think he's a horrible manager. And if he came to United as a manager, I genuinely would not watch games anymore. I despise his style of football. Playing a 5 at the back, bubble wrapping Harry Maguire and playing Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips in front of him. I think with your pool of players, England, with the youngsters you're coming through, you need an expressive manager to get the best out of them. And I genuinely think England, and I know people from that sport different clubs and leagues, they think English players are all overrated, which is, and even as an Irish person who doesn't like England and all that, I completely disagree with that, because there are certainly loads of English players who are good quality and are rated to the standard where they are actually at that, like Declan Rice, for example. But I genuinely think if you played a proper 4 at the back, 43 or something, 43-1, something like that, rather than a 5 at the back, you could genuinely blow teams away if you played good football. But with the pool of players you had from the late 90s to 2014, you should have won something. And I know you were saying there with Gary Neville was talking about how all the United lads sat in one corner, Chelsea lads, Liverpool lads, and that would probably happen. But what you said there about the togetherness of the team, I genuinely do see that actually with England. They all seem to just get on, no matter who they play for. I remember Roy Keane was berating Harry Maguire because he was hugging John Stones after a Manchester derby once. And I thought it was funny at the time, and he had a good point. But from an England fan point of view, it definitely was good because they'll be playing together. They're the best. They're arguably the two best.
I didn't like it at the time. Don't get me wrong. I think we lose 2-0 in the League Cup, and did not like it at the time. I would not have liked to be on camera live streaming at that point. I was going mental, but like you say, if you're actually looking at it from an England fan point of view, and especially recently, I've been speaking to people more into national team and things like that, and I'm really sort of getting into it. I've never really been sort of into it as much as other people have. Obviously, I've watched the games and things like that, but I'm really getting into national team now, and obviously with United not doing so well, it's something that I can enjoy with England. We're doing all right. Well, obviously, we're not won anything yet, but we're doing all right in comparison to how we used to do. In my opinion, the style of play isn't that bad, but I know that we will never agree on that, so we won't get into the debate on that. Camavinga can't even make their senior squad. Indeed, won the Nations League. Yeah, Rafa Varane is captaining tonight for France. Germany and Spain are very good teams. Hansi Flick is a great coach. I rate him very highly. I rate him more than Lowe, who used to pick his nose and pick everywhere else. I remember Spain have Pau Torres. I feel Pau Torres is underrated. Rodri, I'm not sure. I like Rodri, but yeah, Pedri, I feel he's a little bit overrated personally. Gavi, I haven't watched him enough. Ferran Torres, he's all right. Adama, he's all right. Ansu Fati, I know he's struggling with injuries. Busquets obviously coming towards the end of his career, and so is Alba. And Gaia, I assume he is as well. How old is Gaia now?
26, 27.
26. I thought he was older than that, to be honest. Spain, France, Germany, and Portugal. Oh, we've been on that comment. England need to start the right team. Can't have liabilities in this team. I do agree with that. Enrique does play Torres up front. Yeah, Brazil are also better than England. I'm not sure. I know that they've got some promising talents. I like Vinicius Junior an awful lot. I'd take him at United actually. Please go and bid for him United from what I've seen of him. But honestly, they're all right. They've got Fred. They've got the good goalkeeper. Well, two good goalkeepers. They've got a good defense. But then the midfield, Fred, and then Casemiro, and then who's the other midfielder? Is it Alan?
Or Paqueta, yeah. The one.
Yeah, and then you've got Neymar, who he isn't. He's not flying off all cylinders right now, is he? And then you've got Vinicius, and who's the actual striker? Is it Jesus?
Jesus, I'd say.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. Would you say they're better than England?
No, I don't think Brazil are better than England. Purely because they've had many great players over the past. Sure, they've won loads of World Cups and Copa Americas. They're not that great at the moment. I think they're on the up, but I don't think they're there yet. I think Neymar will be about 33 by the time they'll start looking to push for things like that for World Cups. I don't think they're at the standard on. They start Fred. I mean, I think that tells you everything about Brazil, to be honest,
Yeah, I don't think Fred's that bad, to be honest, but we'll move on from that. Brazil is a shout. Hashtag Fred starts over for being young. England, on paper, good like that big game energy. In all fairness, England versus Germany is a big game, and we did win that comfortably. I would argue that Argentina also could beat England. I'm not sure. Do you disagree with that? Or do you agree?
It's a tough one, that. I think Argentina are better than Brazil, and the Copa America showed that. But
I'm not.
And
sure
I do like the way.
Good.
No, yeah, they're not that good. They're not World Cup winners, Argentina. I don't think.
No.
But I think they will have the passion. They all, like you've seen after they won the Copa America, Messi never won it in his career, and when they did finally win it, all Argentina players came out and said, "We won this for Messi." Can you imagine what it's going to be like when he's playing his last World Cup? Arguably, he probably will play for another. Can you imagine what it's going to be like for Argentinian players who are considered Messi to go out and say, "You're being picked in the squad to win the World Cup for Messi"? Can you believe the passion they'll have to win that?
I was thinking about this the other day, and obviously, I'm just thinking about it from a pure, from like not in-depth football analysis, but just as a pure youth player. Let's say Alejandro, is it Alejandro Garnacho? I'm never sure if I'm pronouncing it right. What is he, 17? Imagine getting that call and saying, "We want you in this squad. You're going to play with Lionel Messi. We want you in this squad for the World Cup." Like 17 years old, 18 years old.
He hasn't played for United yet.
I'm 19 and I can only. It's a dream. Do you know what I mean? It's something that's it's something that is probably a huge milestone in a player's career. And for him to have got that already at 17 just shows his potential. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in the first team. I hope he breaks through very soon. France have World Cup curse. Benny Blanco needs to start for England. It does. Ben White is very good in my opinion. And Portugal ain't better than us. They just have Ronaldo, Juju. If they qualify, I don't think Portugal better than us. Kane is a proper passion merchant. Fair play. How am I passion merchant? Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, who will get first in the World Cup? I'm going to say Brazil. Who are you going to say?
Do you know what? I'm gonna say Uruguay. Sounds mad, but Uruguay actually have a very good spine. They have Ronaldo Araujo, they have Ernesto Valverde. They have a really good team. They have Darwin Nunez. I know Cavani's probably finished at this stage, but they actually have a really good spine, and they can build players around that. And this is purely based off of an underdog thing, but I don't think Brazil are going to do as well as people think they are. I think they'll get to quarters or last 16. Argentina might as well, but I think Uruguay will make a little quarterfinal appearance. So I think they'll go just a bit further, but
That would
that's
be interesting.
literally a hope thing. It would,
With
yeah.
Palistri, obviously, I'll never
yeah.
want Uruguay to do well because Suarez is playing, or he has played for them. So I'll never want Uruguay to do well because I can't stand Suarez. Togetherness is not more important in tactics. I think it's very important at a national team level, and we've seen when we don't
It
have
is.
togetherness how badly we do. We've seen under Roy Hodgson in Euro 2016 how bad it was. It was real bad, and
Yeah.
none of that team was together. It was awful. Spain and Germany are the ones I'm scared of. I would say Germany and France, possibly. But Fred clear of those two. Trippier, we should have been 5-0 up at our time versus Croatia. I think I watched some highlights of it like a month ago, and it's frustrating how many chances we did miss. But equally, we could have been 6-1 down at the end of extra time. Respect Rice. Thomas is Irish.
Listen, yeah.
Thoughts on the Irish guy
No,
made a video
I'm not
about
having this.
Ireland.
I'm not having this.
Go on. You can have a
Oh,
rant.
come on now.
You can rant.
No, on the Rice thing, right? On the Rice thing, I genuinely rate Rice. I don't like this narrative, right? I really like Rice. I hate him as a person for what he done to Ireland, but I actually really like Rice, and I do rate him. But I've said in the past, I prefer a different midfielder to Rice because he's too expensive. So I don't. It's not that I disrespect Rice. I think he's a really good player. But saying that now.
That's fair. What's your thoughts on the Irish guy who made a video about how Ireland are going to have an amazing side in Euro 2028 and it'll be an England-Ireland final?
Yeah, to be honest, I think the Irish guy's a bit of a mong, to be honest. But I do like what he said though. If that's true,
I
you
like
do
the
actually
Irish
have.
guy, actually. I think he's a.
No, I like
think
him.
he's
He's just a bit of a. He's a bit of a mong though. Like when he starts saying things like that, you know. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think that we'll qualify for a World Cup. Or the Euro. Sorry, I don't think we'll go anywhere near the quarters. Like, but we
I
do
think
have a
it's
good
about the FA, isn't it?
young spine.
And building it up.
Yeah.
It isn't just, and it's also about clubs also developing the talents. Like obviously you've got the Scousers who developed Trent Alexander-Arnold, and obviously there's not really going to be an equivalent Irish player to him probably. Although it's about developing talents and it's about working with the Irish FA and things like that. It isn't just about getting to that. It's how you're going to get to that and things like that. And the FA need to work on that. I think I've seen Irish guys speaking about how bad the Irish FA are. What is your thoughts on the Irish FA?
Yeah. They are a joke, and because there's what happened with us, right? When we appointed our manager Stephen Kenny, who was he managed Dundalk to League of Ireland titles. He was a very good manager in Ireland, and they appointed him. I thought that was very good because he was young up and coming manager in a sense because he was young in manager terms. He was doing very well in Ireland, but can he transition that from the Irish league to international football? And he's starting to play really good football now. The only thing is with the FAI, I remember, what game was it? I think we played Georgia in a World Cup qualifier or Euro qualifier, and it was a dreadful game. We played so bad, and we had a tennis ball protest in the Aviva where people were throwing tennis balls on the pitch, and we scored a free kick straight after. So, but no, the FAI is corrupt. Like it's not as bad as England's at all. Like England's one is actually quite good. You can clearly see that because they have a good togetherness and everything. With the FAI, Stephen Kenny, who's the manager of Ireland, he's like I said, the manager, but he's also on the board of decision making when it comes to that. So, for example, if he's not doing well, and there's a call for him to be sacked, he can basically overturn that and vote that he doesn't get sacked. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
That's facts. Yeah. Now I don't know if it's changed in the recent year or two, but that's the way it was last time I read up on it. So that's not good at all. Like it's corrupt, but I think he's doing very well as a manager right now. He drew to Belgium's second team on Saturday, but and they're playing tonight as well actually against Lithuania, I think. But they are starting to play good football, and they have a few Derby lads. Rooney has Festi Obaselli and Jason Knight. They have some good youngsters coming through, and so I think in the long term it's gonna be short term pain, long term gain, you know. So I think in the long term
Yeah,
you'll see
100%.
us in past tournaments.
100%. Keep gassing me up for this World Cup. I can't wait. I've been gassing so many people up for this World Cup. Can't wait for the World Cup. Friday's the draw. I'll be doing a live reaction to that at 4:40 p.m. So it would be just after my driving lesson. I'll be doing a live reaction to that. Thomas shaking his head. It's so much against opinions. Fair play. You're hiding it well. It was you shaking your head, yeah. Vinicius, Neymar, Anthony Rafinha, front three for Brazil. It is good. You say they're all right, then you name their earliest player. Neymar, Jesus, Richarlison. I don't rate Richarlison too much. Firmino. Do you rate Richarlison?
I think he's all right. He's a funny player actually, Richarlison, because he's like his mold. He's a European striker, but he's Brazilian. It's really weird. Like he's very inconsistent. I don't like his attitude either. So like I wouldn't take him at United, but he's not a right striker, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's Brazil standard, like starting for them, you know. But
playing with Pessi will never be my dream. Hi guys, it's a Mad Darlington fan. Hope you Hope you are well. Darlington won 2-1 at home on Saturday. We are 3 points off the playoffs. Hopefully you get to the playoffs. I hope you do well. Uruguay, I think they could have a great mix of youth with players like Palestri, Araujo. Oh, I thought Araujo was Mexican. I must be completely off with that. I think I'm completely off with that. An experience like Suarez and Godin. Wow, Godin's still playing. I remember his team this season on FIFA.
I think it'd be him as in the for Atletico. I think he'd be starting, but Cody might be knocked around still. Yeah.
He was good against us, Jimenez, both games. I think
he was.
Palestri World Cup compilation can be saucy. Varane and White will be decent for Man United. I've said this for weeks, and I think it would. Do you?
I think it's a hypothetical. Like it's never happened.
There's no chance. Yeah, never. Yeah.
Never. Could they work well together? I don't know. Because he reminds me a bit of Victor Lindelof, like in the style of play. But I think he's probably better than Lindelof. So I'd say it would work, but again, it's never gonna happen, is it? Also?
No, never gonna happen. Watch out for Canada, especially as they could, as Tomori could play for them if we don't call him up very, very soon. Hi, CSM. Right, on to the third to last debate. We're already well overrun, but we're fine. We're fine. And to the 5 people that are in here, I'm live again in an hour and a half for the Portugal watch along. So right, greatest Premier League team of all time. So you've got this. Obviously, you've got the Centurions, City.
Yeah.
You've got the Scousers who thought they were going to go unbeaten and they didn't. They got beat 3-0 by Watford. You've got us in '99. You've got us in 08. And I think us in 90, the first season in the Premier League, 92. Our centre back getting 20 goals in the Premier League. Imagine Harry Maguire getting 20 goals in the Premier League. That would be mental. But right, who do you think is the greatest Premier League team of all time?
Honestly, because the only team I remember watching was the Centurions and the Liverpool team. They shouldn't be in there. I don't think they won. I think you should be putting Liverpool's late 70s team in rather than them. You know, the levels are drastic. Like they won 1 Premier League and they lost 2 games. You know, like we've done that loads of times, so there's nothing special Liverpool at the time. Obviously, it's special winning it the first time in 40 years. That's a big thing for them, obviously, but it's not as special as the rest of them. You know, so they're definitely very low. I didn't really rate City's team, the Centurions team. No, I did rate them. So I said that wrong. They've got 100 points. I think they're the only team to ever done it. It's very, very, very good. But what did they win? They won the Premier League and the Energy Drink Cup. Compared to the rest, they're not winning it. You know, the Invincible team is a joke. They drew 2 of their games. They got a Yorkie covered trophy. Well done. You got Invincible. You know, I think it's between a treble team. This is very boys, by the way. I know it's between the treble team and the '08 team, and I think the '08 team. Um, I knew more of the players more because I ended up watching majority of them because they're more later. They're
Yeah.
like 20 years apart. So or 10 years, sorry. The '99 team won a treble. I think it's quite. I think it should be them, but the '08 team, I I have more knowledge of the players they had. So from being a younger fan like me and you, I tend to drift towards them more, even though they didn't win the FA Cup, which we got robbed on as well. We should have won it that year. Like we should have won everything that year. But the fact that they had such great depth of players, and don't get me wrong, I think all these teams that were in this discussion had brilliant players. Don't get me wrong, but I think what they achieved is what's more important.
Yeah.
Whereas you need to remember the competition as well. I write off the Centurions as one of the best because their competition was us with Mourinho, and we finished 20 points behind them. That's the only competition they had. Whereas the '99 team, the treble winning team, we went to the last day with Arsenal to win the league. We had to beat them in a dreadful FA Cup semi-final game where Ryan Giggs scored an unbelievable goal to us short off,
Vieira
and we
gave him
bet,
the ball.
yeah, best midfielder of all time, no chance. But when we won the Champions League in the last 4 minutes of the game, I mean,
Can you
how
imagine being
much we
in that
went through to win
stadium?
it? Oh, I couldn't. Yeah,
I
it'd be
know I'm
absolutely
always I'm one of the I'm one of these people that I'm all, like obviously I love being at a stadium and all that, and I do
yeah,
talk about being at a stadium a lot, and I know other people aren't as sort of fortunate to be there. And obviously I probably, even if I was around then, I 99% wouldn't have been in the stadium. Ironically, I would have been watching it. My uncle watched it in the Dome. It's now no longer owned by Manchester City, but it's the Manchester City Dome. It was City's training ground at the time, and they were showing
oh
it,
yeah,
and that's where he watched it. And it's nothing to do with being like obviously he watched it there with his mates. But
yeah,
being in that stadium, and Gary Neville said like you can barely remember it all. Like it just erupted as soon as we
yeah,
equalised. And then he said the next few minutes after that, he don't know what happened. It's hard to say what happened. It was just like
yeah,
a moment of like an out of body experience. Like I've been in some amazing atmospheres. Don't get me wrong, and I speak about an awful lot, but that one, wow, you're witnessing history. Like you are
yeah,
witnessing history, and I'm only jealous of people like in the Stone Roses, people like Manning Brown who was in there and things like that, and people that were in that stadium, and even people that jibbed in the stadium. Because let's have it right, people jibbed to get in that stadium. I'm very jealous, and for me, I'm going to say the '99 one was the best.
yeah,
And not just as what they achieved, but if you look at the team, Peter Schmeichel, Blomqvist, Stam, Neville, Phil Neville, obviously I'm going through his squad here: Solskjaer, Keane, Scholes, Butt, Beckham, Giggs. Yeah, it's the best. Let's be honest with ourselves. We can only
yeah.
dream of getting a team like that now. We can only dream of something like that. Oh God, if we win the treble again, oh, I will be on camera drunk for months. Um, let's have that right. Kenny says even though they
Yeah,
didn't win this treble, I think our 08 side will never be topped. Utterly brilliant. I thought that
okay.
season, controversially, we weren't that much worse than City. We grinded out results when they played awful against when they played awful against the likes of Huddersfield, which we couldn't. We got what was it, 81 points? They were just unreal, weren't they? They just
Yeah,
bought the way to the top, I guess. It's now
exactly.
1-1 with Estonia and Cyprus. If just equalised, they were actually great compared to many of those winners. 92 at Liverpool, psych. Right, and that leads us on to the greatest team of all time. As much as I think that they've allegedly taken performance-enhancing drugs, I'm going to say the 2010 Spain team, or even the 2010 Barcelona team. You could basically say the pair of them together. Who would you say?
Wait, what's the question? Like, exactly.
Who's the
I missed
greatest
what that.
team of all time?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry. Fuck, that's hard. Longevity wise, I'd say you could argue it was United from the early 90s to when Sir Alex retired, because that longevity, that's considering how many teams he built.
Yeah.
As a club, you know, but you have to. I agree with Barca. When from the period of 2006, like 2015, they were. I mean, even further, like 2017, they were really good. So it's very hard to gauge like who the best team is, and like there's so many teams like AC Milan as well. They had a few good teams like that as well.
Inter Milan as well, and Jose's Inter,
Yeah.
and Jose's Porto as well.
It's tough because you could even go back to the fucking like late 60s where we won the Champions or the European Cup at the time, where we had Best, Charlton, Styles. Like we had like these great variety of
host,
players.
Speaking of Styles, his son was the host of the event that was at the other night, and
oh, was he?
Yeah, he's a comedian, and also
yeah, I've seen him in the. Oh,
yeah.
No, because I've seen a lot of documentaries speaking on like behalf of his dad, who obviously sadly passed away. So yeah, that's great, you know. Same way George Best's son, Callum, is it? Yeah, he speaks
Callum
a lot
Best,
about it as well.
I think he's been on a documentary and wrote a book as well.
Yeah, well, when you look at these, you kind of realize how iconic these players are. You know, how much how good they were to be documented again from like their own child documented them as this great player, and you realize how iconic they are.
Yeah.
That like these people remember them from the past. You could probably like you talk to, let's say, your great granddad and my great granddad, who were, I assume they probably were around watching football back then, and they would probably tell you how great the Busby Babes were, and the likes, and then late 60s team with Dennis Law and all that. Like because they were such iconic teams. But I'd say the best team ever, like I think, has to be either Barcelona 20 what season was it? 2009?
2009, 10 and 11
or
as well.
United's 99.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're basing off 3 years, I think United from 2006, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9 were up there. Or it'd be Barca, like what you just said with Barca. It'd be one of them two. It's very hard. I don't know what I could say about that.
No.
Yeah,
for sure. All four Arsenal were invincible. Can't stop that. 2021 United side is the best of all time. Bring back Lockdown Man United, man. It's what we need. Lockdown Man United, second half FC, Vibes FC. We love all of that. Bring it back. There are way too many sides I've never seen, and way too many I have seen. I can't come up with an answer to the best side of all time personally. Some of the best were Real Madrid's triple Champions League.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo, prime Ronaldo. Unbelievable. Barca in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Yeah, with that team doctor as well. That's no longer a free man. I'm at Busby side, the Busby Babes. Yeah, Wayne Rooney or Thierry Henry. I'm saying Wayne Rooney, pure bias.
Come on, it's Wayne Rooney. Come on.
Yeah.
There's no debate there. Wayne Rooney's favourite.
Sitting right now, the best team of all time. Absolutely not. Across their whole careers, Henry, CR7 fan, but Prime Rooney is much better than Prime Henry. Right, on to the last debate. Pochettino, let's just say it happens. I know that you don't want it to happen, and I don't mind if it happens. I would prefer Ten Hag, but I don't mind Poch. Now, what positives? Obviously, we can speak all day about the negatives that he could bring and things like that. But what positives could Pochettino bring to Manchester United?
Like you said, it's so hard to because I'll be crying the day we announce him as manager because I just do not want them. Anyway. People level this Premier League proven thing against Ten Hag and in favour of Pochettino, which I do not agree with because factually 90% of Premier League managers didn't have any Premier League experience, so that's futile to be honest. But anyway, Poch plays decent football, a good attacking football. He managed Shaw and so I'm struggling here. I suppose he managed Shaw. He made him the player he is at Southampton. He wanted a lot of players that we have now. He wanted Bruno. Somewhere he got sacked before. He wanted Donny van de Beek too. He wanted Harry Maguire at Leicester as well. He wanted Rashford at PSG. Like he had he wanted players that he wanted. Sorry, he will have players he wanted. when he's at Spurs and PSG. So that's a good thing as well. But it's also a bad thing for us because he won't demand some more signings. I'm going onto negatives now. Other things, I suppose, like he will finish fourth every year. Um, we won't win
That's what
anything,
Kenny
you
says.
know. Yeah, exactly. Like what Kenny said, he secures the top four every year. That's really all I see him as. He'll get sacked in 3 years because he'll have a below par season, you know. Kind of like what Jose did, and it was a 3 year cycle again. So yeah, like just in summary, I think Poch will finish fourth every year. We
It's a bit
won't sign a
weird,
lot of
the
players.
manager
You know?
situation for me right now. I don't know about you. But, I've been following the news despite not being on my main account on Twitter.
Yeah.
And news came out yesterday that Pochettino has been interviewed for the job. But 5 minutes later, Samuel Luckhurst was on a podcast, and regardless of our opinions of Samuel Luckhurst as an actual journalist, he does have very good sources and get very good, reliable news, let's say. And he said he would be very surprised if Ten Hag wasn't the Manchester United coach next season. As in, I'd be surprised if it didn't happen. And he said the sporting people in the club want it, and he said someone else said I think as well. So before a manager meets Richard Arnold, they get interviewed by Ralph Fletcher and Mercer first, which personally I agree with. I've seen a
Yeah.
few negatives about that last night. I think that's a better footballing structure than we previously had. That's a step forward. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's certainly some sort of structure. Like I'd say in the past, it used to be just the Glazers made the decision. That's fine, you know. I don't know if we've spoken with Darren Fletcher on this on here before, but I don't understand his role at all. Like I know he's supposed to be some sort of technical director who stands on the sideline who gets booked. He's first ever technical director to be booked in a game, I'd say. I don't know what his role is. Is he a coach? I've been told he's a technical director, but he has no experience to be calling on one of the biggest decisions for the next 15 years for the club.
No.
But if he's in the process, fair enough, you know. John Murphy, I don't really rate him either. He's been in the club for 10 years. He's been Richard Arnold's mate. I don't see what sort of football and CV he has to be making decisions like this. But if that's, again, same with Fletcher, if that's the case, then let's do it. And Ralph, he has I completely trust him. Like my whole hope is in him because apparently I've seen some news reports that Ralph is a backer of Everton Hag, but Sir Alex wants Poch. Now, I think we both, obviously, every United fan loves Sir Alex Ferguson. Like loves him with a passion because of what he's done to the club. But we should not be listening to him at the moment. Like he's retired. He doesn't. He hasn't. He probably has kept up to date with football, but I just don't think he has the level to be suggesting like managers to us because he's just not that he's not there anymore, you know. But of course you have to. Yeah, people do take into account. I
It
get
has
that.
to be taken into account, in my opinion, and he is on the board of
Okay.
directors. I know he
Yeah.
obviously a few years ago he wasn't so well, and now he's recovered and now he's back on the board of directors, which is a good thing.
Yes.
I think there's a fine line with Sir Alex at the moment. I feel some people, and I mean very few people online are directing a little bit of negativity towards Sir Alex, and I feel you can disagree with Sir Alex. He played John O'Shea in midfield, and he played like 8 defenders in one game, but
Leave
like
John
3 in
O'Shea alone. He's
midfield.
not a legend.
he played. He did all sorts of wacky shit. He did all sorts of
Yeah.
mad shit, and it worked. I
He
feel we
signed
can
Eric
disagree.
Jemba. Yeah. He's not perfect, you know.
Yeah. He's human and he gets things wrong. We can
Yeah,
disagree
of
with
course.
him, but I feel like let's not get on his back for that. We
Yeah.
just disagree with his opinion. In my opinion, I feel there's got to be a fine line between anything to do with Pochettino or anyone that says Pochettino, this person is an idiot. We just disagree with that person, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like Norman Whiteside said he would prefer Pochettino, and Clayton Blackmore said he would prefer Ten Hag. They sat right next to each other, and I know we're in a call right now, and Obviously, people can disagree and agree, and it's just about discussion. Teddy Sheringham today said, "I don't know enough about Ten Hag to speak on Ten Hag," which is fair enough. Is
Yeah, of course.
absolutely fair enough to say. I don't know that much about Ten Hag to speak on Ten Hag. I probably know a little bit more from speaking to an Ajax fan, but not
Yeah.
too much about Ten Hag. I'm not as clued up as an Ajax fan. We're getting to the last comment. So for the 5 people that are in here, remember to tune in 1 hour and 10 minutes for the watch along. Even if you're not going to chat, just leave it on a device to help me. Who's winning Ligue 1, would you say?
I think PSG will find the form again because they're only focusing on because they got knocked out embarrassingly to Real Madrid under such terrible circumstances, like the way they lost. They have nothing else to play for. I think they'll just grind out Ligue 1. But I would love for a team to sneak up like Monaco or Rennes or someone like that, just sneak up and take it away from them. But I'd say PSG win it, So
develops youth. Poch develops youth. Good playing style, actually decent tactically. With the Uruguay shouts to what even qualify. I think they've already qualified yet. He develops youth very well, to be fair, and improves fullbacks a lot. Bought Trippier from Burnley, and look at him. Walker made Danny Rose look unbelievable. I remember when Danny Rose looked
good point.
Remember when we were linked with him. Does he guarantee us 4th though? Arteta, Conte, Tuchel, Pep, Klopp are all better. It was a Norman Whiteside who was saying if there's anyone he wants, he would want Tuchel. I do apologise somewhat. I will end the stream in a minute, Thomas. I do apologise if you wanted there.
That's fine.
Poch will buy the obvious player, and that hasn't gone well for us in a while, to be honest. Ten Hag will be exciting and a mystery, which is something I will look forward to. Yeah, Ten Hag go 1-0, 1-1 on aggregate. Oh my god, 1-0 Ghana. If Ghana qualify, they might pick Lamptey. Might choose them because Lamptey can choose England or Ghana.
Hudson-Odoi as well, isn't he?
Oh, can he? Yeah, I'm not sure about Hudson-Odoi. I think we need to pick Lamptey. I think he's better than Kyle Walker-Peters, to be honest. I'm sorry, but in 2022, I'm trusting Ralph over Sir Alex. But that's fair enough. You can disagree with Sir Alex. Fans want Ten Hag, ex-legends want Poch. It's not a battle. It's not a battle. We just disagree. But anyway, I'll end the stream there. I will be live in 1 hour and 10 minutes exactly. Remember to tune in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting in the chat. Thank you for coming on again, Thomas. I hope everyone has a good evening. And I'll see you later.